Well, hello there.
Welcome to the Handsome Cat Show.
That's new. I didn't.
It's true.
No, it isn't. I got to start coming to the planning meetings on this thing. Hey, glad to have you with us. Coming up in just a few minutes, we are here in Nashville, and the Songwriters Hall of Fame dinner was the other night.
Amazing event.
Got all the inside skinny, some background, some fun, some great stories, including a Kenny Chesney hit we almost didn't get to hear because somebody on his team decided to pass. Kenny did not agree with that.
Oh,
it's a great story. It's coming up in just a bit. Stay here. Well, let's start with a prediction that if anybody thought this wasn't going to be big, they're crazy. We talked about it a few shows ago. Taylor Swift, the Eras movie.
They're saying with this movie and her tour, she's expected to make $1.4 billion.
Ooh.
And then there's still people posting, nobody cares about Taylor Swift. Quit showing her on the TV. And I'm like,
Look, man, people care. Just because you don't. And I get it. I mean, there's plenty of artists out there that are big that I don't care about, but it's a huge story, so that's why we're talking about it. Yeah, opening weekend for the movie made close to $100 million, which is kind of what they were expecting. I think it opened on something like 8,500 screens. It beats the record. I think the last record for a concert movie like that was Justin Bieber.
Okay.
So she broke that record. She also, she obviously shattered the Michael Jackson record, all those other things that were held so long ago. Swifties loved it. They had a great time, had nothing but positive things to say. But then there is the other side of the coin. And I guess a lot of moviegoers were complaining and said they had their experience ruined.
Because people stood up and sang and danced in the aisles during the movie, which Taylor encourages.
Yeah, she said it when the movie came out, dancing and singing encouraged. I mean, she wants this to be like a concert experience. And I think for most people going into that, that's what they knew they were getting into. That's why they were going. And so a few people posted videos on TikTok and stuff, and they were like, the worst movie experience of my life. What did you think was going to happen? You think that you're going to go into a theater full of Taylor Swift fans and they're going to sit quietly in their seats?
We can't get people to be quiet in their seats during a movie with dialogue.
Exactly. They're on their phone and stuff anyway.
Yeah, you think you're going to get people quiet during that?
So I've got a side with the Swifties on this one. If you went to this movie thinking you were going to have a quiet, normal movie-going experience, shame on you.
Yeah.
That's very naive. If you want that kind of experience, you're going to have to wait till this thing comes out for home streaming.
Yes.
That's the only way around it. Otherwise, go and have fun. If you're going to go see a concert movie, treat it like a concert. Know that there are going to be people who annoy you.
Yes.
Everywhere we go, there will be people who do that. But anyway, congratulations to Taylor. Sorry for the few who had their movie-going experience ruined by others having a good time. On the subject of movies, a movie we watched at home, I did not expect to like this, didn't really even want to watch it. But Katie talked me into it. It's based around a video game, and it's a true story. Have you ever heard of Gran Turismo?
Yes, Clint Eastwood's fantastic.
That's Gran Torino.
Oh, then I don't know this one.
Okay. Gran Turismo came out, I don't even know what year, long time ago for PlayStation. And I think around the time the second or third version came, I got it for PlayStation 2. So, again, a long time ago. Really liked it. I'm just not a driving game guy, but it was incredibly realistic. And the man who created this thing wanted to set out to make it the most realistic driving game ever. And he achieved that.
Okay.
And if you see it, we'll just put a screenshot of what the gameplay looks like here. I mean, look at that.
Man.
And when you're playing the game, you feel like you're in there. So this movie is a true story. Orlando Bloom's in it. David Harbour from Stranger Things is in it. They had this idea to find the world's best gamers, the people who are the greatest at playing the game, bring them together in a tournament and whittle it down to a team of like 10, I say kids, late teens, early 20s. And then they were going to pick the best and actually train the cream of the crop to be real race car drivers.
Oh, wow.
And someone would actually end up driving for their team. It's a crazy story. It's a true story. It's super entertaining. I did not expect to love this movie because I don't care about video games that much anymore, and I certainly don't care about racing. But it was excellent.
I'm the same way about video games, and the last video game movie I saw, a true story that was good, was Tron.
Anyway, it's a good movie, so don't let the racing thing or the video game thing throw you off of just a human story about how this thing happened and how the kid who won did it. It's really, really something. And then one other quick movie note, we just want to get you to hit us in the comments because I'm always looking for recommendations. Katie and I, we've seen pretty much all the big horror movies. We're big horror movie fans, and in October, we really just try to watch as many horror movies as we can leading up to Halloween. So we've got all the usual suspects. What is your go-to scary movie?
Silence of the Lambs will always be my number one answer.
A lot of people don't think of that as a scary movie, but it's a super scary movie.
Jaws.
Seven, Jaws, those thriller type movies, absolutely, for my money, those count.
Yep.
So whatever the thing is, if it, for you it's scary, be it a ghost kind of movie, whatever. I'm not a big slasher movie guy.
Me either.
Oh, speaking of that, I'm sorry, I forgot one of the movie. I think it's an Amazon original. It's called Totally Killer.
Okay.
It's Back to the Future as a horror movie.
Oh, I like it.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
Check it out. I think it's on Amazon. So now, on a much sadder note, a couple of big celebrities passed away, older celebrities. So, if you're under the age of 40, you probably don't know who they are. Well, I take that back. Suzanne Summers, because she did the 90s show. What was it? Step by Step?
And the Thigh Master craze.
Yeah. So Suzanne Summers passed away, breast cancer, and
she was on the show many times, and she was always very delightful, very open about what she went through. She was one of the first women that really went, having Rachel and my daughter now, I'm kind of anti.
You're pro-women now?
Yes, the thing women go through, because she was the one that stood up and said, I should get paid the same amount John Ritter's getting paid, and she got fired for saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, she said it one time and was fired. She told that whole story, and she also told a story that I keep seeing in the post. Everybody's posting this scene of her in a tent on Three's Company where she was on, and Joyce DeWitt got mad at her for telling the story. Because
I can't imagine why.
Apparently on the episode of Three's Company where they were in the tent camping, Joyce DeWitt farted, and it smelled so bad that they were trying to get through the take, and it was just brutal. And you can watch and see them laughing in the tent, kind of rattling because they're laughing so hard, but mad at the same time.
I think it's something most of us have experienced in some form or fashion.
What, being farted on by Joyce DeWitt?
Not specifically Joyce DeWitt.
Gotcha.
But being in an enclosed situation with someone, and I'm not pointing any fingers.
Yeah, okay. I got you. I'm with you.
You know what I'm talking about. Although that'd be something if Joyce DeWitt just made her life after Three's Company going around.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Joyce DeWitt. And she just marks in her book. Got another one.
Famous farter, Joyce DeWitt.
Okay, this went downhill fast. The other one, I don't know that we have a story necessarily, but a legendary football player. He's in a few movies as well, Dick Butkus.
Oh, my goodness. First of all, he was in the Blue Thunder TV series. That's where I know him best from.
You're not going to mention Semi-Tough?
Yeah.
Semi-Tough?
I don't know about Semi-Tough. I just know Blue Thunder.
What's the prison one he was in?
And he was a chef on one of those kids shows, like, was it My Two Dads?
My Two Dads.
Yeah.
My Two Dads.
I know my Dick Butkus.
But what's the movie, though? Adam Sandler remade the movie, Burt Reynolds movie.
Oh, Longest Yard?
Longest Yard. He was in Longest Yard.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you, we do have a story about him.
Oh, okay.
We didn't interview him, but we were in Randy Owens' golf tournament in Fort Payne, Alabama.
For June Jam.
For June Jam.
Okay.
And you and I were playing, and a ball come over the hill. I mean, it was a long drive because there was nobody near us, and it rolled up and almost hit Tony in the foot, and Tony picked it up and threw it over in the woods. And about 2 holes later, someone come up to us going, hey, you guys may want to beat it. And we're like, what? And they were like, Tony picked up Dick Butkus's ball and flipped it over in the woods, and he saw it. And he was looking for Tony, and he was going to exact revenge. And Tony, the rest of the day, we were behind trees. We were laying low.
The whole day, really. Up until the time we got to dinner at Randy's, I was like, I'm going to get killed by a famous.
Yeah.
I mean, what a way to go. Well, how'd you get both your arms broken? Through Dick Butkus's golf ball into the woods. I was not a golfer, and I didn't really realize how, even in a
etiquette,
the etiquette, like, we were just having fun. I thought, this would be a fun little joke. Dick Butkus did not find that funny at all.
No, he did not. And when we told Randy, like, he might have to protect us, Randy just did that eyebrow thing he does, kind of like, dude.
You're on your own.
Yeah, like, man.
I'm not stepping between you and Dick Butkus.
I don't know how much I can help you.
So sorry to see that both of them have passed, and there are personal stories. But do look up that Joyce DeWitt, Suzanne Summers scene. You'll see what we're talking about. Olympics. I know how much you love the Olympics.
I can't wait to miss them again.
Chris has always been a big fan. He never misses an episode. He records everything so he can go back and watch and keep track.
I'm on record as saying this, and I'll take a lie detector test, and I dare you to prove me wrong. The only Olympics I will watch is the Laugh Olympics.
Yes. Really rottens. I've always been
I'm a really rotten guy. They can build a dam out of peanut brittle like nobody's business.
2028 Olympics, I think, are going to be in LA, and they have decided to add some different sports to this thing. Well, and I use that term. Well, they're sports. I guess they're all technically sports, but they're not necessarily what you would think of when you think of the Olympics. But their reasoning is they want to try to attract more viewers. The current sports aren't getting it done. So they are going to add squash, cricket, which I know is big overseas, not really in the States, softball, baseball, and flag football.
Oh, this is terrible for every guy in his 30s or 40s that has a team for his business or whatever, because they're all going to think, now I can make it to the Olympics. If I tore up my knee, but they were talking about me going to the Olympics.
That's flag football. I'm just excited that they're going to start. If they're bringing out all the games from my 6th grade in school, you let me know when they decide to add Heads Up 7 Up to this list. and I am your man.
Did you ever look at the shoes?
I always cheated.
Okay.
I assumed everyone did.
Well, you're the kind of guy we want on the American team.
You want to win, right?
Yes.
Okay. USA. USA. Along with the sports coming up, even sooner than that, we're about to be in full-blown political season.
I hate all politicians. Every party. I think they're all liars. Everybody's in it for themselves. There's nobody that I'm like, this is a good person. So that's where I stand. So before we get any emails or direct messages of, oh, you're so this or so that, here's the deal. Putting a warning out there. We see how many people repost fake stories where it's from an open satire site, and people will repost it
and stuff
and argue this is true. Jason Aldean's launching a video company. He's not, that kind of stuff. We're warning you now. They're saying this year, as we get into political season, deep fakes is going to be a real issue. And if you remember the Tom Cruise deep fakes that were going around where the guy was putting Tom Cruise's face on him and he did a pretty decent impression, it was enough where the FBI got involved because it looked so realistic. So now you're going to see video clips of, and some of them are starting to get out there now, of political figures saying things that are completely ridiculous. And some of them might be close to truth and be believable, but it's fake. So you're really going to have to do your research before you repost something.
It's super important for everybody to be somewhat educated, at least do a little. And I hate to say do your research. That became such a thing during COVID, all these idiots online, do your research. But you really should do some due diligence as you prepare to vote for whoever you're going to vote for if you're voting, or whatever stand you're going to take about something. Make sure you have as much information as possible, because it's important in this world we're in. Like Chris said, I mean, with the technology being what it is and deep fake and everything, it's up to us, just regular people, to actually pay a little bit of attention, do a little bit of work. The internet is right in front of you. Google's sitting right there. Use it.
And we recommend Snopes.com to back up stories. That is a great debunking site, or is this true? And it'll come out and say this is true or this is not true, because it's going to get crazy, I think, with people posting this deep fake stuff. And also, just so you know, no matter what you post, no one has ever posted anything that swayed my vote. That has made me go, wow, now I'm voting for the other person.
You feel free to post what you want, but try to do your best to just be right about what you're posting. Hey, this is a real story. This is accurate, because 9 times out of 10, and that's not, I don't think that's a bad number. People are posting stuff it hasn't been fact checked. It's not real. It's from a weird, like a satirical site. You just have to do a little bit of work. And this kind of goes along with that. The whole mask thing, there's still a lot of people wearing masks. Mm-hmm. The COVID uptick has been a problem for a lot of people, especially people with compromised systems.
I'm naming that the COVID comeback.
Oh, okay. Well, that's catchy. I would just ask, I'm going to tell a quick story. If you see somebody in public who has chosen to wear a mask, just let it go.
Yeah, I don't care.
It doesn't affect you in any way. There's no reason for you to be a jerk about it. There's no reason for you to get involved. There's no reason for you to. So Katie and she's more diligent than I am. But I do still wear my mask in busy places because I just want to. And we talked about it on the show before. I haven't been sick in a long time. I like that. Washing my hands more, wearing the mask, I think it helps.
I don't wear a mask, but I do love anything that keeps people from talking to me.
Hey, right.
And those help a lot.
Sometimes, but then you get the people who decide to talk to you because they want to, oh, what's with this? What's the deal? And it's just, well, first of all, it's none of your damn business. And it doesn't affect you. So why are you getting into my space? I don't want to talk to you on a daily basis. I certainly don't want to talk to you about this. So Katie had an experience. She was going to get her hair done, and she goes to this place, and she gets on the elevator, and it's up, whatever. She got her mask on. So 2 guys get on, they're in suits, and they clearly work in the building somewhere. And one guy starts, oh, where are you going? She's like, upstairs. Oh, well, for what? Stuff. What kind of stuff? Stuff that's my business. I mean, she clearly wasn't going to give this guy anything. And then he made a comment about the mask or whatever. And so long story short, she gets off the elevator, and as she's kind of walking away, she hears the guy say to his friend, I'm surprised she's not too scared to ride an elevator. And she decides to, in that moment, because they've irritated her, to call out, I'm not too scared to say you.
Okay.
And I'm so proud of my wife because she doesn't take any crap. And it's like, these guys, for whatever, I picture these guys as the same guys who bullied kids when they were little for no reason. It's like, oh, you're different, or you're doing something I don't like. So I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna nitpick at you. I'm gonna make you. And those are just douches. And I'm sorry, you don't have to be like that.
Yeah, it's none of your business. Nobody's put you in charge of that. No, I don't care one way or another whether you got a mask or don't. It's not my business, not my fight. I do, however, almost want to start wearing a mask because of the Halloween makeup, and just put like a horrible burn around my face, or like blood, like my skin's burned off, and put a mask on and have someone come up to me and go, why are you wearing a mask? And go, because I'm insecure about this. Thank you. for just ruining my day. And then them could be like, I am so sorry.
That is great timing. I just saw a clip on TikTok of a comedian tell a story. He was at self-checkout and something was going wrong. And this woman behind him just starts going in on, what is wrong with you? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? And just yelling. And she's just going. And he said, I just let her go for like 60 seconds, 2 minutes. It went on. And I just sat there kind of watching her as she yelled at me over this, that me being slow. And then finally I just went, which I believe is I'm sorry, basically indicating I'm deaf. And he said, you could see the color drop out of her face. And she was like, she paid for his groceries, she paid for his stuff, walked him out to his car, apologizing the whole way. And then he just leaned and said, I just want to say one thing. She was, what? She says, are you stupid? Right back to her, he got in his car and drove away. And I was like, yes. Just have patience with people. Be nice.
Mind your own business too.
That's the main thing. Mind your own business. You got plenty of problems in your own life, probably. You don't need to go.
Yeah, that's not to get off on another side story, but just a quick story is there was a guy the other day getting crazy about something, and he was talking about the Bible says this and the Bible says that, and he was looking at me like, why didn't you say something to them? And I said, yeah, I agree. Everything you just pointed out is in the Bible, but nowhere in the Bible does it say Chris Rochester's in charge of enforcing this.
We'd never be able to control your ego if it did.
Yeah, nowhere does it say Chris is going to be in charge of policing all of this, so get after it. So I just said, not my fight. You know what? At the pearly gates or whatever, they'll deal with it.
What'd they say to that?
They just kind of looked at me like, oh. And I said, now, are you mentioned in a verse? Like, let me know if I need to kiss out. And then they were like changing the subject.
Yes, so typical. Real quick, I went to the doctor for the first time in forever, had a bunch of blood work, mainly healthy, but I have a couple of areas where I had some high numbers. So I have to go back for a retest in about 2-3 weeks, but he wants me to not drink alcohol because one of them is my liver enzymes. And I said, okay, no problem. So Katie and I were kind of on the hunt because it's easy to make like mocktails with fruit juice and club soda. That just gets a little boring. So I was looking for recipes for the virgin versions of drinks we like to drink.
Yes.
Because she's going to not drink with me for this period of time just to see what's going on. And I love whiskey sours. I make a homemade whiskey sour that'll knock your socks off. And I was like, man, I really want to still make that. But how do I do it? So I looked up online to find non-alcoholic distilled spirits. Then I found one where it was mixed. You get a lot of people saying, oh, this stuff's terrible. I can't believe anybody could drink this. But they're drinking it on the rocks or neat. You're not going to get any kind of non-alcoholic thing that tastes like bourbon.
Gotcha.
But for my purposes, Kentucky 74. Read some good reviews, went and bought some at Total Wine & More and tried it with a whiskey sour, and it was actually pretty good. And what they actually say on the bottle for people who are trying to cut back on drinking or calories is you could mix it half and half, and it really takes some of that calorie count out of your alcohol. Yeah. I'm not doing that. I'm just going all the way. It tastes like a really good whiskey sour with just a little bit of a cheaper bourbon. And if you are looking for something like that and you've been trying them or you haven't wanted to pull the trigger because it's, $35 a bottle, non-alcoholic, it's like, it's a little pricey. I would go and say, I would recommend this. I tried it with an old fashioned. It also tasted pretty good, pretty normal. Still makes you feel like you're in the game. If you're around people who are drinking and I'm not an alcoholic, so I don't care if people drink around me. But I like to feel like I'm on a Friday night or Saturday night doing something.
Okay.
I don't know. It's habit.
I'll give it a try.
I recommend it if you're looking to cut back. That might be a way you can go. Let us know if you try it. Katie got a gin from another company. I won't say the name of the company. I'm not in here to bash people, but it smelled right. So this smells kind of like gin. And I tasted it. And she drank it.
Not good.
I didn't love it. And that brings us to Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame dinner. Just happened recently, and we've got some inside stuff for you.
Won't bore you with all the stories from that night, but there were a lot of legends there. And do some research. Look it up and read the articles. Keith Urban.
Callback.
Keith Urban, Kix Brooks, a couple of the folks there, and many great writers. And I mean, some of these classic songs. And the room was just legends. John Connolly brought the house down when he Lady Lay Down. So good. Nice. Oh, my goodness. Everybody around us was just like, oh, my goodness, did you just see that? When you see these legends up there, Larry Gatlin sang, it was amazing.
Cool.
Eric Church sang a couple songs. Kenny Chesney came out and sang a song. Cody Johnson came out and sang Only in America and crushed it.
He has a good voice for that song.
It was like, oh, and you saw him move his capo down and get ready for that last verse where he did the key. It was so good.
That's very cool.
But it just was a very big night. And Casey Beathard, who has written some legendary songs, and we knew his dad in San Diego. His dad was general manager of the San Diego Chargers for years. And when he was being inducted, Buddy Cannon introduced him. And he's a legendary producer in town, produces Kenny Chesney. Yep. And he said that he got a call one day. Oh, real quick, Casey Beathard also, I think he wrote No Shirt, No Shoes, No Problems all by himself. So just that song alone.
Doing just fine. Yeah.
Buddy Cannon gets up there and says, I got a call from Casey one day. I said, hey, I just sent you a song. I want you to listen to it. And he goes, and I listened to it and called him back and said, yeah, it sounds just like another football song, Boys of Fall. We're going to pass. And he said about 10 minutes later, Kenny Chesney called him and said, hey, I just heard a song Casey sent me that we've got to get in the studio and record immediately. This song's fantastic. And Buddy, to his credit, was like, that's when I knew you don't have to be a genius to be a record executive. And you wonder, it made me wonder how many great songs have been passed on that an artist would have loved, but they didn't get a chance to hear it.
Oh, in the hundreds, thousands, maybe?
Because, you know, we always ask artists, what's a song that you passed on that would surprise us? And the amount of celebrities that are like, oh, I passed on. David Lee Murphy, who went in that night. Big Green Tractor. Jake Owen passed on that, famously.
Well, if you check out our shorts on this page, you may have seen the George Jones story I put up. I mean, when they brought He Stopped Loving Her Today to him, Billy Sherrill, his producer, he's like, I'm not doing this. It's too sad. It's too depressing. And then at the end of recording it, he even still stuck by it and said, nobody's going to buy that morbid son of a bitch. You should go back and watch the short. It's a great little story about how that song came to be. And I love the Eric Church thing because these artists who are going in get to decide, they get to say who's going to, or request who's going to induct them and who will perform some of their stuff. And I think the Eric Church story is pretty good.
Keith Urban had Dolly Parton induct him, and then he had Eric Church sing his song. And Eric Church came out and told a very, you know, Eric Church catches some flack for being cocky. And we've always found him to be very humble and very
super
fun.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool. And he got up there and he had his guitar and he goes, you know, I was selling knives on the third shift when I moved to town. And I think it was Golden Road was the album he was talking about by Keith. And he was like, man, that album had some, you know, it was so good. And so as soon as Keith called and asked me to sing a song, I was like, well, it's got to be on this album. And then that album's got some serious guitar playing. So basically saying Keith Urban's a way better guitar player than I am, which I thought was very humble to say. And then he did a version of Who Wouldn't Want to Be Me, slowed down, that was just incredible. And it was just fantastic to watch.
You know, there's so many of you, you'll text us or you email us and, hey, I'm coming to Nashville. What should I do? And they're really, I'm glad that it's become popular because the songwriter rounds are so much fun. If you want to see a great night of entertainment on a smaller scale, obviously than this Hall of Fame dinner, it's not going to be full of legends necessarily, but to see these men and women tell the stories and play the song, how they may have interpreted it before it got interpreted by an artist, super great. So our first thing to tell people when they come to town is avoid all the touristy stuff and just go find some places where you can see some good songwriters telling stories and playing these songs.
Absolutely.
Because a bunch of them at some point will probably end up in this Hall of Fame, and it's really just incredible. But yeah, it was a great night for country music, for sure. Well, finally, as we wrap it up, we just remind you again, we're part of the Amazon Influencer Associates program, so we're going to have our link in the description where you can go to our page. Most of what we try to put up is stuff that you might be buying anyway, but if you use our link, we get a commission from that, so we earn a little money.
Check it out and share it.
Yeah, we're going to look for new stuff to put up. If you are looking for new things as the holidays approach, if you're looking for things to say, oh, hey, what do you guys, have you used this or where can I get a good deal on this? Let us know because we can find those things for you and get the links up to help you find the things you want.
And I want to see who gets this far in the show because we have some special stuff coming soon. If you would, mention that in your post when you share this, that, hey, by the way, they've got some special stuff coming soon. You want to get in on their shows now.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're looking forward to what we are going to get to announce soon. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Make sure if you like what you see, you come back a couple of times. Maybe it's time to subscribe.
Yep.
Pop that button as well. Share the post with friends and neighbors on your social media. Help us keep getting the word out. We've now gotten over 3,200 subscribers. Not too bad since the last time we talked to you. We thank you for that. Really appreciate it. See you next time.